mouse. Oh, and he brought him to the house. Oh, yeah, he's so very proud. Oh, to sing his kitty song loud. Kitty hunt, he hunt for sure. Gotta prove he can live solo. When Kitty was a hunter long ago, he had to run fast, now we can't go slow. Whether in the sunshine or the snow, gotta catch a mouse, gotta go, go, go. Kitty jump high, then you get down low. Kitty's still a pet, but the hunting grow. Kitty caught a mouse. Oh, Kitty caught a mouse.
Whoa.
I wish my cat would do things like that.
My gosh, you and I, we've got a kitty obsession.
Yes, we do.
It's
My
either-
little Siamese princess is sleeping somewhere in the kitchen right now. Maybe she'll make an appearance later.
Well, my little domestic short hair is having
Yeah.
her nap. She is a spoiled brat.
And
And
so is mine.
I just feel, here's my feeling as a cat caretaker. I feel that it's my job to create a beautiful life for myself. And I have, I also feel that way about my cat. Like I want to create. a
I
beautiful life.
agree. And there's a synergy because the cats also make our lives beautiful. You know, I think of all the trouble my cat causes, but I couldn't imagine life without her. You know, I can't put up a Christmas tree anymore because she tears it down. My leather chairs, I have to cover with blankets so she won't destroy them. There's a hole in my living room rug that she dug. I found just 2 weeks ago. I'm like, ah!
It sounds like you live with a demon instead of a cat.
Yeah, a little Tasmanian devil or a little Siamese devil, but I love her.
Well, welcome everyone. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
wonderful.
for joining the stream. I am Whimsy, your hostess with the mostest, and I am here with the co-star of the show, the all-powerful Chuck DransfIeld is in the house. Welcome to you, Chuck.
Welcome.
Here.
Welcome. A happy place to be here.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. We're going to turn the camera around and give greetings to and salutations to everyone that's decided to join us today, starting with Pam C8Ks. Hello, Whimsy and Dr. Whimsy chat managers and chit chatters. Donald Lambert, thank you for your membership.
Yes, comment here. She causes a catastrophe. That's good. That's exactly what my cat does. This is, her hair looks pretty. I don't know if she's talking to you or to me, but
we both look good, I think.
Pretty hair. How's that? Are you? Anyway, you do. You have beautiful hair, Whimsy.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, I let it go a little bit on the gray, and I, you know, because here's the
a lot on the gray.
I give up. I feel like every 2-3 weeks I'm calling Brian, but the little bit always comes out gray. Like within a day or two, it gets to be expensive.
I just stopped doing it. I was doing it myself for many years, and I gave it up about a decade ago because I was tired. First of all, brown spots all over my bathroom. No matter how careful I was, it splattered, and it would turn out too dark. And then the next week, it would start to fade a little and look okay. Third week, the roots started to come in. And by the fourth week, it looked like hell and it was time to start all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing, well, you actually look good. You look good like that.
Well, I
Mm.
decided to let God color my hair.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is a really great thing to say. You're
yeah.
letting God color your hair.
God
I
has
love
better
that.
taste than I do.
Yeah. Well, giving also a shout out to some other people joining us here. It looks like Donald Lambert's in the house, Sheena
Yeah,
Ferry, and Rush, all members. Welcome. Chris Crowdis is a member,
thank you.
Kim Connell.
Sure.
Wow. Thank you for paying our rents. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Oh, so
Mhm.
many nice people. A lot of you I talk to on the phone because I make calls for Whimsy as her assistant. And, there's just so much love out there. And I just want to say once again, it means the world to me. I just really thank you all. And it feels like we're surrounded by family. A lot of good
We are
people.
surrounded by family. We are surrounded by love. We have found our tribe, as they say. We
Yeah.
have found our tribe. Now, have you been keeping up? Well, before we get started with the news, we've got so much to talk about.
Mhm.
I know you prep so well for the show. We really do put our heart into this. Everybody could like, subscribe, think about being a member before we get started. Um, but what was I going to say before that? Oh, yes. And I wanted to make an announcement that at 6 o'clock tonight, we have our book club. That's what I wanted to say. Are you
Yeah,
excited?
I'm excited about it. This was a really good selection. And
Yes.
I think I want to get copies of this book to give as gifts. Yes, let me get
Yes.
my copy here. Spark. Finding the
Well,
spark with
I was going to have it be January selection because, and something happened where another book got pushed through. I think we chose Kim Hines instead for January, just because I got pulled into Kim's book, and then I was like, oh my God, this is like the best writing ever.
yeah.
But the reason why I chose Spark was because, can people see that? Is because this is something that happens a lot as a reader. I see so many people that feel that they've lost their spark. It's like life has beaten
Yes.
them down, and they're like, I don't even know who I am. I don't know what I want. I don't know what God wants for me. I don't know why I was created,
Oh,
and I'm 60, 70, 80. And it just breaks my heart, you know? What do you want to
well,
say something about that?
we both have been there. Honestly, I was at this point the first part of last year, and during a lot of the pandemic, a lot of things had not panned out for me as I had thought. I had put out a lot of time, a lot of energy, frankly, a lot of prayers, and I didn't feel like I was being heard. I was getting very, very discouraged. And as we all
So
do, we all
funny.
get those places where we get angry at life for a while, and I look at where I am now. And I said this to you before, but last July, it was actually 2 days after my birthday, you called me up and said, I want to put you on my live stream. And I was like, Whimsy, I can't do a live stream. I've never done this before. And now, not only am I doing your show, I'm doing a show of my own on Mondays. I've got my own channel now. I've got something like
Yeah,
650
and you
videos.
should reach out to other readers so that you can go on their shows. I mean, I think that you would do really well with. I'm thinking of some of the readers out there that I think you would really jive with, but I think I could totally see you on Sheila's show. You
Oh,
two would
thank you.
be really jive really well together. Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we'll talk about this later in the book, in which, Gail mentions, surround yourself with like-minded people, be open to going down avenues you would not expect to go. And I
I'm so
immediately
glad
thought,
we're doing this. Aren't you glad we're
well,
doing this? Aren't you glad that our channel isn't just about silly things and gossip, but it's like, how can we give people the tools to be empowered? Don't you think that's great?
that's what it's about. I think that's what it's about. It's just working in the light and communicating. And this is exciting. It's like I feel like my own show is just morphing in different directions. So we've been morphing. It's just following spirit wherever it wants to take us and
You know,
how
it's
it wants to utilize us.
it's so interesting because you know that I had hired Debbie Brady as my creative consultant for the show for the channel, and I get very nervous when we have co-stars. I always have panic attacks, and it's a lot of stress. So Debbie and I were meeting, and she was like, well, you got to pick somebody. You got to pick somebody. And it kept coming back to you, and it kept coming, and we kept praying on it, and Debbie and I kept talking about it, and everything came back that you were the co-star. And so it just makes me laugh when you say, like, oh, I felt God wasn't hearing me. Meanwhile, there was all these negotiations going on.
There's all this stuff going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a lesson for all of us when we get discouraged. It doesn't mean there aren't things going on our behalf. It just takes time. Timing has to be right. So I try to hold on to that. But thank you. But, Whimsy, I'm not surprised because we go back, to the year 2015, 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We started together. We used to
get before that, 2013, because I used to know you when I shopped there. Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah. But you and I used to get in trouble for talking at work too much.
Yeah.
That's the way we were. We were always joking and kidding. We've always had that chemistry.
They got so mad at us.
I know.
Oh my God.
Now we get to talk all we want.
I know, we get paid to talk. Isn't this bad? Spirit found a way. Spirit found a way.
Yes, it did.
All right. So if you're just joining us, welcome. We're going to do the Empas prayer, and then we will blitz away. Feel free to ask any questions you like. We are more than happy to answer them. We got a lot of questions. I gave you a heads up. Why am I squeaking? I shouldn't be squeaking.
Maybe it's Mila. The kitty squeaking.
So anyway, I think we should do the Empas prayer, and then we can get to all the questions. Isn't it amazing how many questions we have? You guys are like, we'll do the Empas prayer, and then I'll tell you all the cool. Well, I sent you some of the stuff that was coming up.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. All right. Oh, look, Leslie just became a fairy and an angel. Hello, Leslie Payne-Child. Thank you for being a member. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Well, every Tuesday, you always send me videos and things to read, prepare for the show.
Yeah, well, the Taylor Swift stuff was pretty cool. I mean, like, that's we'll see. Let's do the Empas prayer, and then after that, we will blitz away. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Yay. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to have to change these settings because I think my input and output is off.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm hearing a squeaking.
I wonder what it is. I mean, from my end, it sounds good. I don't know what audience members have to say, but
it's what they call it. The audio gets a little weird. Oh, there it is, the sound. I think it's supposed to be that something with your output is, okay, my input is going in and my output. Oh, yeah, my output is too high. Okay, and then my input is supposed to be, hello.
You said we are broadcasting in stereo right now, right? Oh, yeah. A couple of people said, 3 people have said, yeah, there is squeaking. Now, I don't hear it from my end. But
from now, they shouldn't hear squeaking now.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Well, I'll have to let our viewers answer that because I wasn't hearing it. Sounds better, said Sheena.
Yeah. So the balance is there. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure my input is good. Yes. Yeah. And we're going to increase, select sound output. Yeah, okay. Volume. All right. Perfect. Sorry about that. So the squeaking should be gone. Is it gone? It is,
so.
Right? I don't hear squeaking
It seems to be. It seems to be what people are saying. Yeah.
All right. So Let's talk. Let's
Yeah.
talk. So we did the Empas prayer, and I think that everybody wants to talk about the main issue, which is the trial and the trial of Donald Trump, and the fact that it is increasingly looking like it's pretty disastrous for him. I don't know how you feel about this, but
No,
do you think there's any chance in God's green whatever that this individual is stands any chance whatsoever of being the president?
oh God, I hope not. I mean, that you saw that Time magazine interview he did. It was just announced today, some of the quote unquote highlights of it. Oh, it's I thought, is this someone from Nazi Germany? You know, the things he was talking about, like how he feels that every woman's pregnancy should be monitored to make sure she does not have an abortion. I forget
Who
what
said
else,
this?
but I'm paraphrasing it, but it was a Time magazine interview where he outlined things that he hopes to do in his upcoming presidency if he achieves this. And that was one of the things I heard them talking about it on The View this morning. And as you can imagine, Whoopi Goldberg was quite outraged about it.
I just I can't believe that our country has turned into this place. I don't know about you, but it just seems to me like it's just gotten crazy.
Yeah, crazy. It's like absolute insanity that this man is going to be the Republican, well, prospectively the Republican presidential nominee. But then, let's see, this trial's supposed to last 6 weeks? I don't know how
It's
this works.
supposed, the thing that I would take away from this, Chuck, is that it's only the beginning. I mean, this is a guy that has, if you go into it just energetically, this is a guy that has gotten into himself into a lot of trouble, and he was able to avoid getting arrested for a really long time. But now he's in the toilet, and you know how a toilet will flush you down, you get pulled into the vortex.
Right.
That's kind of how I look at him right now.
Well, yeah, that's certainly how it seems. I mean, it just seems like he's like that monster. You keep shooting and the monster, Freddy Krueger keeps coming back to life again. It's like nothing seems to bring him down. I hope this is going to be it. I hope so. I mean, the thought of him being president again is terrifying.
Yeah,
I
don't
this
think
from David Garcia. He keeps passing gas, literally stinking up the court. Is that true?
nobody can verify. I've heard from other people that no one is reporting it other than TYT, so nobody knows if it's true. It could be just a fake rumor that they're spreading in order to make him look bad, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's true.
Yeah. This is an intriguing question. I'm sorry if I zoned for a second. I was reading what Terry Kurtz said. Perhaps we should be asking the spirits, why is Trump on Earth? What is his purpose?
Okay, that's a really good question. Who said that,
me.
Terry? Oh,
That
I
was
Terry.
from Terry Kurtz. I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. Sorry, folks. I don't have my glasses.
All right, so let's go ahead and ask Spirit, why did Donald Trump happen?
Yeah.
Why did Donald Trump happen? Thank you, Daisy. Welcome. Good to see you here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support and love. Much appreciated. Okay, why? I'll just do a blitz on this.
Well, I kept shuffling until a card just fell out of the deck. And for whatever it's worth, should I tell you, it's just one card here. I got shadow. And maybe it's,
that's so crazy.
We all have a shadow self, and we have to acknowledge all of the dimensions of who we are, including our shadow self. So maybe Trump's purpose is to mirror that shadow to us so we can see it, recognize it, learn from it. I don't know. That's just a theory I'm getting from this, but I have a feeling your cards are going to be far more in depth.
It's so interesting, but you and I are really connected because many people have said that Trump is the shadow of America, that he exists because we exist, and he is our collective shadow. He is the horrible, awful, ugly. He is our horrible, awful, ugly. So, for that reason, he exists.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he is the shadow. I got that his days are over, that he
Yeah.
really doesn't have much of a political future, in the coffin.
Yeah. It certainly appears that way.
His
Yeah.
opposition is young people. The people that are voting now are people that didn't vote 4 years ago. And so what
Mhm.
happened is that the world is becoming increasingly more democratic, right? But it's not the Republican Party is not keeping up with the trends because the opposition is the garden, and the garden is children. And
That's great.
so younger voters are going to probably take him out.
Do
The
you see
hope
these
and the fear, he is the hope and the fear. And then the final outcome is the mountain. There's no way. He has a mountain to cross. I just don't see it happening.
do you see voters who were not even of voting age 4 years ago coming forward now that like they're that young, like maybe 18, 19, 20? These may be the people who are going to, shall we say, save the country? Save us from Trump at least?
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be what it's saying because the garden is what we are growing right now. It's the next generation. And there's just no way, based on these cards, that young people are, you know, this concern that young people are not going to vote for Biden, or that's not what they're saying. In fact, things are getting even intense. I can tell you 100% based on these cards that things are going to be getting a lot worse for Trump, that it's in the next 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to get even worse for Trump.
I would imagine it comes
Yeah,
forward.
it's going, what is going on with my sound? It's driving me nuts.
Oh,
Yeah, for example, he has a crossroads here. This
yeah.
guy really thought up until the very end that he was going to make it. He thought up until the very end that he was going to be able to pull it off.
Well, he always
And
has. So I could see where he would believe that.
yeah, his opposition, garden and snake, would indicate there's a snake in the grass, would indicate that his own people are going to be sabotaging him.
I can certainly see that once they feel he's no longer of use to them.
Look at this, his hope and his fear. Look at that, the storks bringing new young. I mean, it's crazy. He's afraid of young people.
As he should be.
And then this is getting even crazier for him, by the way. The tower is his outcome, the mountain.
Whoa.
Because they cannot delay the trial in Georgia. They cannot delay the trial in DC. They can't delay he's got 91 federal counts.
Yeah. Do you know when the other trials are going to take place? Will it be before the summer or before the convention?
Yes. I mean, he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, like, he's going to be guilty, and then they're going to have to reprimand him to custody. Then he's going to have to serve in some kind of the thing. I feel is like he gets flushed down the toilet, and then once he's in the toilet, once they've got him, it becomes one problem after another. He ran out of money. There's nobody in the courtroom that's willing to support him. Even Melania isn't there. It's so sad. None of his children are there. None of his wives are.
Yeah. Well,
It's crazy.
I think the man is incapable of loving anyone except maybe himself, and sooner or later that has to be reflected back.
Well, people were asking about the snake, but the snake was in the 8th house, which is the immediate environment of his opposition. So his opposition is a snake, which tells me it's a snake in the grass. A snake in the grass is somebody that maybe they pretend like they like you, but they don't like you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they pretend like they like you, but
Mhm.
it could be people within the GOP sabotaging him.
I can
Mhm.
see that, especially if it becomes clearer that he's going to be such a liability to the party. You know,
They're saying that his immunity cases have to be solved before the other cases,
yes,
so that's interesting.
yeah. And I wonder when that's scheduled to be determined.
Well, the Supreme Court seems to be very sympathetic to Donald Trump, and the Supreme Court seems to be saying that he doesn't have to be prosecuted, that he's above the law. That seems to be what the Supreme Court is saying. I
That's
don't know.
really scary to say anyone is above the law. Yeah.
Well, the fact that they took the case, the fact that they even took the case was in and of itself pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that they're willing to try to settle this in such record time, too, very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
it's
hear me now? You
interesting.
can hear me, right?
Yeah. I hope people can
Can you hear
hear.
me?
Tell you something funny. I've just been here just shuffling cards.
Okay, let's
This
see.
shadow card just keeps falling out. It's fell out for the 4th time. My deck. It's definitely reinforcing
Checking
what
this
he
out.
is. Let's see. I was just looking at some of the comments here. I think it's they're moving quickly here. Let's see. Can you see this, Whimsy? Did Howard Stern interviewing President Biden change some voters' minds to vote for him? It was a very emotional
When did he
interview.
do that?
I wasn't aware of that, but I know that Howard Stern, has a very young following. So that would
Oh,
be
yeah?
interesting. That helps sway younger voters.
Because
Quite
of a way of
possible.
putting.
And
Oh, yeah.
and that's saying Don Jr. was in court today. So at least one child was there.
Oh, Don Jr. was there?
That's
Because
what
a lot of people are saying that he's been really abandoned by his own family.
yeah. Who knows what's going on? The fact that just one showed me, maybe it was just that. It was for show. They decided somebody from the family had to be there, for appearance sake. It's hard to say.
Mhm. All right. So, yeah, what do you think about what Disney Val is saying about the Howard Stern interview?
I was just saying, I think it makes a lot of sense. I'll have to go through the archives on my Sirius XM and look for that. I wasn't aware of the interview, but I know Howard Stern has a young, hip audience. And I think that was a very smart move for Biden to
Mhm.
appear on there, to be interviewed. And I think it could have definitely worked in his favor. No, Biden just has to do anything he can to make himself seem young, vital, current, so that, he chose well. It says here, Carol said Biden talked about suicide on Stern's show. Carol,
Why?
in what capacity did he talk about suicide? Oh, yeah. And someone else here said it was Eric who came, not Don Jr.
Okay. That's just so sad.
Yeah. So let's see here. He's probably feeling low. Yes. Howard interviewed President Biden last Friday morning. Okay. I'm going to look for that. I want to listen to that. I may listen to that tonight.
Let's look at Biden's cards and how he's doing just overall.
Okay.
Do you think that's a good idea?
I think that's a great idea. Let me just start shuffling here and see.
Thank you. There's 350 people joining us. Thank you so much. If you could like and subscribe, that would be awesome. This is Taco Tuesdays, where I get together with the amazing Chuck DransfIeld and we blitz away. And stick around at 6 p.m. We'll be interviewing the amazing Gail Ninhause, author of Spark. Fun day today, isn't it? Fun evening.
Yeah. Oh my God. This looks good. What I got. I just let the cards fall out as they fall out. I love this. New beginnings.
Sorry.
What? Did you get something like that too?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, but yeah, new beginnings, self-esteem.
Good.
Wow, that's so funny.
No, I'm gonna let you go first. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
just was
well,
really
no,
happy.
I new beginnings, self-esteem, and I see this as a very positive card on his part. Like he's getting confident. He's onto something here. And then the third, I got gifts. Gifts. I just always take gifts to mean positive, great possibilities, great happenings. I just see this as great. But that first card, I got new beginnings. This is such a
Mhm.
positive card. So that's all that I have. But tell me, you
Man,
laughed
are
so
these cards good?
much.
You guys,
What?
you guys, don't be brainwashed by propaganda. Okay, this
Yeah.
is what I would say. You guys, do not be brainwashed by propaganda.
Okay.
Biden is a very good president, and
Yes.
everything is going to be okay. You must really take this in. So the best possible card for a president using the Lenormand is the bear.
Whoa.
Because the bear is the mama bear and she protects her cubs, and nobody is ever going to hurt my baby. I will tear you to shreds if you touch my baby. So he is the bear of America.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are in the arms of the bear. Don't you worry, Whimsy, about that $365,000 student loan.
No,
It's now
I just felt the
gone.
hard. Yeah. But you know,
You worked 7 years pharmacy, boiling potatoes. They took federal, they took federal.
yeah. But you know, I was just gonna say what
I
Carol
would have
Newsom
quit sooner if I'd known that. After two, I could have quit in 2 years. I didn't even know it. I stuck around for 7.
yeah. No, I don't mean to I hate to be laughing and then say something so serious here, but Carol just brought up that he was talking about when his wife and child died. He was lost for a while,
Oh,
but he still
oh
had
my
2
God.
children to care for. So that must have been the low point in his life, suicide. And you know, that makes me just respect the man all the more. You know, anybody who has gone through a journey like that, you can't go through that without developing great empathy, great compassion, great love, you know. And this is a man who understands things on levels that many others would not. That makes me just trust him all the more. I love that
Mhm.
about him. It's like,
Yeah, it gets even better though.
okay,
His opposition,
yeah,
inverted sun.
inverted sun. No,
Don't
what's that
let
mean?
the sun go down on me. Don't let the sun, although the sun is going down on Trump. Trump is his opposition.
Whoa.
Although I search
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, so the sun is going down on his opposition. His hope and fears. What is the hope and fear that Biden has for America? That we've lost our freaking minds.
Yes.
Lunacy, the moon, the lunatic.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's his final outcome?
His final outcome.
He got the
So
ring, honey. He got the ring.
he got
He
the
got the ring.
ring.
He got
He
the
put a ring on it.
ring. He put a ring on it.
A ring on it.
He's gonna win.
Oh, I'm glad. This is good news.
Can you believe an inverted sun over his opposition?
Whoa.
It made me think of that Elton John song. Don't let the sun go down on me.
Yeah.
It's just a very like you're dead. The sun is going down on the coffin. It's because Trump got the coffin.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So moving on, things are moving on, and I listen to everyone, and be kind to all, so that all will be kind to you too. You know, we try to vibe with that. However, there is mystery afoot. There is mystery afoot in the kingdom.
In the kingdom.
There
Oh,
is
yes.
mystery afoot in the kingdom. A
Mhm.
couple people have been writing me, asking me to cover the Royal Rota out of Spain is claiming, we're moving on now, we covered the Trump stuff. The Royal Rota is now claiming that Kate suffered a stroke.
Wow.
Now, if it's a hemorrhagic bleed, if it was a hemorrhagic stroke, there are different reasons a person can have a stroke. You can have a
Yes.
stroke because you lose oxygen. If she was in a surgery, she lost a significant amount of blood, which could, say, for example, they did an intestinal surgery, she lost a tremendous amount of blood, and they were
Yep.
not able to keep her fluid levels adequate. She could have suffered a stroke. But according to the Royal Rota, and they're doubling down and saying, we know what we're doing, and we've got our facts, and we're not salacious gossip. We're reputable reporters. But evidently what they're saying is that she suffered a stroke due to in the surgery, possibly loss of blood, loss of oxygen, and they put her in a medically induced coma.
Yeah.
And the reason you do that is you drop the oxygen demands of the brain, so there won't be further damage.
Right. I remember you talking about this a few weeks ago. You were theorized that there had been brain damage. Something had happened, gone wrong in the surgery. They were keeping her under wraps. Oh, dear God.
So now it's getting even darker and even creepier, because now they are starting to trash her in the royal media, calling her a middle class, saying she pursued William like as an obsession. It says the press is turning on her. When I connected with her in the spirit realm as a remote viewer, she told me, "Whimsy, they're going to put me away. Don't let them put me away." What happened? What happened? She said, "My husband's going to put me away. Don't let them put me away." And now they kept saying, "Don't be ridiculous." I was getting attacked. She's coming back in Easter. She just had a minor surgery. And she kept saying, "Don't believe it. They're going to put me away. They're putting me away." And now it's coming out that they're going to have her in Adelaide Cottage, and that they're adding additional rooms for her medical staff. She's been put away.
Oh my God. The hit I got while you were saying all that is, I don't think the public is going to buy this. They're not going to believe all the press is saying. She's a very loved woman, and I'm just sensing the public is going to stick by her. I was feeling that what you just said, but I know how vicious the British press can be. Anybody who's been to England knows that, just looking at the papers. They call them the rags for a reason, those tabloids.
Well, now they're spreading in all of the gossip rags. They're saying, "Secret Princess Kate has dangerous, dark hobby that scares William."
Oh.
What's her deep, dark, secret hobby that she likes, that Prince William says, "I don't like it. I don't like that you do this. I like to swim in the dark. I like to swim in the pools, in the pools of the estate, and when it's pitch black, where I could drown theoretically in the waters." Yes.
No.
So it's as if they're trying to say, well, she's off swimming in the dark somewhere. Now,
I was just going to say, I don't think the public is buying this. I mean, like when that picture came out, look how quickly people pounced on that. This is fake. This is artificial intelligence. This has been photoshopped. But the public is too savvy. And I think there's such a mistrust now of what comes out of the palace, mistrust of the press. And that ultimately may be Kate's salvation, her people.
I felt as Kate that I was going to be put away, that my husband didn't love me anymore, that he had left years ago, that he couldn't stand me, that he had so little respect for me, that 9 months ago he stopped returning my text. He moved out of the house. He has a flat in London. Half the time I don't know what he's up to. He wants to put me away, and I've taken to drinking at night and pills just like his mother, and that I had an accident and I lost consciousness. And now they're reporting that one of the children found her unconscious. I didn't know if it was one of the children or William, and that they had called and that she had been in hospital. So if she lost oxygen. So what's scaring the hell out of me as a remote viewer was that vision I had of her unconscious, and that she had not responded, and then they had called an ambulance. But they're saying Louis found her, and that's very upsetting for me to hear, that you would find your own parent.
I know. I've known of incidences where people as children have found their parents. Like, I know someone who found her father dead from a heart attack when she was 8 years old. That's a horrible thing for a child to go through. Very traumatic.
It's terrible. Well, let's see if she's okay, if she's conscious at this point.
I wonder if that's a question I should ask, yes or no. Pendulum. The question is she conscious at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Is conscious at this point? Now I'm getting a strong yes, she is conscious. It's pretty strong. What are you getting?
This is bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen, I'm sure you have, one of my favorite shows was the original Cinderella for TV.
Oh yeah, Leslie Ann Warren.
In my own little corner, in my own little chair, I do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm poor, but the prince loves me. Cinderella, 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 the poor girl who's locked away. You have to stay. So she sings, in my own little corner, in my own little chair, I do whatever I want to do. So she has been put away. She has been put away like Cinderella, the poor girl. Who's her opposition? Who is her opposition? The wealthy queen. The wealthy queen, the established wealth. And she's the little Cinderella, Cinderella. And then this wealthy person, I'm all that in a bag of chick. I come from the wealthy class, and you are but a Cinderella. No, you can't go. You must stay. Hopes and fears that I will be lucky, that I will have good fortune, that I will have good luck, right? And her final outcome is death, the skith. She dies.
Oh, God.
So I don't know why they're saying that, because we don't predict death. We're not allowed to. I can only tell you that the skith of death is her outcome.
Well,
So
could it be a metaphorical death? You're seeing literal death, or is there a possibility it could be death of something else? Like death of her current position? What are you getting?
So the first one was Cinderella. Okay.
Yeah.
So that when I saw her as the poor girl locked away with the rats and the birds, I heard myself singing Cinderella, Cinderella, and I saw Kate Middleton, no shoes, poor, dreaming in her own little corner. And then who is her opposition? Who is this beautiful lady? Is that Rose? The wealthy girl. You got to stay home, Cinderella. And then her hope and fear. I pray that I shall have good luck, right? This is, you can't see because I've got a green screen, but it's the lucky card. I don't know if you can see it. And then the final outcome is death. Death for Catherine.
Death for Catherine. That's just terrible. Now, I got the pendulum. I did get she's conscious. Do you agree with that, or do you think she?
I just feel. Do you guys see this imagery I'm talking about as a remote viewer? Do you guys see what I'm talking about? That she's put away. That she's a poor little nothing, and then she can't compete. I can't compete with this. It's I felt like I'd been put away. That
that's just
I was deceived by snakes. Snakes took me out. Snakes are over me. The snakes. I was deceived. This is not looking good, folks. You guys really have to pray for Kate.
Yeah.
She was put away.
Locked away? Literally locked away?
I don't like this imagery of her crying and taking pills. If she can't sleep, if he's off, he just dumped her. There's nothing she can do about it if he dumps her. There's nothing she can do. This guy wanted nothing to do with her for 2.5 years. She was so depressed and so rejected, and her self-esteem was so low when I was Kate that I thought to myself, I would look at the schedule of events I had for my husband, and it would make me feel like I had something to look forward to that we could plan together because we had nothing else. And now we don't even have that. He refused to play the game. He dumped me. 9 months ago, it's like he quit. It's like what Harry It's Harry and Meghan did. He walked off the job.
Yeah.
Now he's publishing as William sometimes, and she's not around. And he says, no, she's not going to go. They've taken her off the books now. I think yesterday they announced that she's possibly never coming back.
Yeah.
So I just,
I'm just like taking this all in myself. It's shocking.
What's shocking for people is that the wealthy can do this sort of thing. That somebody can just be put away, that somebody can be disappeared, which is almost what it looks like. And as this is the hard part also about being a remote viewer, because you have to just come up and take it. Either you're right or you're wrong.
I know.
What I saw was a woman upset who was drinking at night. She'd been prescribed antidepressants and other medications for mental health problems. And if she also had problems where she had to have surgery, that's completely possible too. But I felt like this was something separate. Her husband didn't like her. He thought she was crazy. He wanted to put her away. She was trying to live a more spiritual life. But this is a lonely queen who is put away by themselves at Adelaide, never to be seen again.
Oh my God. It sounds almost like a Grimm's fairy tale or something. The princess or the queen locked away in the tower.
Yeah, like Charlotte Bronte would write something like this.
Yeah.
No, clones don't work. Anyone who says that doesn't understand how clones work. So let's talk about how cloning works. How cloning works is you take a fertilized ovum and you put the genetic material for that particular person in the fertilized egg, and then you plant it in a person who then would carry the fetus. So say, for example, you wanted to clone your cat. You would take some cells from your cat and you would take a fertilized cat egg, you would put that genetic material in, you would put it in a cat. The pregnant cat would give birth to that cat. Then the cat would grow up, and it might not even look anything like the previous cat because of epigenetics. There are all kinds of reasons why we turn out looking the way we do, what the conditions are in the uterus, etc. So you don't clone somebody by just throwing, hold the pickle, hold the lettuce, special orders, Walnut says, out come the chute, there's a brand new Kate. That's not how cloning works. It's if you were to clone a human being, it would take, first you would have to do the DNA, then the person would have to carry for 9 months, then you would deliver a baby. It wouldn't be an all grown-up Kate. That's not. So I think it's kind of funny, some of the silly rumors that go around.
Well, example, I think of Barbara Streisand cloned her dog. Just before the dog was dying, they scraped some cells from the inside the dog's mouth and belly. And she now has 3 identical dogs that look just like, I think the dog's name was Sammy. They're identical to Sammy, though she did point out they have different personalities. Barbara said you can't clone a soul, but genetically they are identical.
And why did she do that, do you think?
She loved her dog Sammy so much. And when you're someone like Barbara Streisand, you have the wealth to do that sort of thing. I think it cost something like $100,000 to clone her dog, but
I think that's such a waste of money, and it would be better to go to a dog shelter and rescue a dog and save a doggy's life.
I know.
Your doggy had a great life. He had you as a mommy. Let it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it was a personal choice on her part. I bet I just thought of that when you were talking about the cloning process. That's exactly what happened. And in her case, they were identical. But of course, not the personality. You cannot.
Yeah. So let's see what we got. Some questions here. Let's see. We've got Geocosmic Valentine saying, it shows just how idiotic the royal family is. Kate was also extremely capable and charming, just like Meghan. And if they throw Kate away, they do not survive the age of the internet. I felt bad for Kate, because anytime there's a fall guy, it needs to be Kate. They don't want the royal family to look good. So, we'll just say that Kate did it. If William's getting drunk with a bunch of Tories at a pub making racist jokes and somebody overhears it, he can say, oh, Kate did it. And Or if he's fighting with Harry because he's obsessed with Harry and Meghan, it's his own trip. It has nothing to do with a woman trying to raise 3 kids who's got health challenges. She's not obsessed with Harry. She's not she was deeply hurt, yes, by accusations that she was racist. But the truth of the matter is, I don't get that she's petty or obsessed, Kate, like her husband is. Her husband's got some psychological issue with his brother. And the truth of the matter is, when I put myself in the shoes of Kate, I want to be kept out of it. Keep me out of it. This is your issue with your brother. And I've got,
Right.
I would be angry that they were pulling me into their damn problems.
Sure.
I never had a problem with these people. I also felt like my husband wouldn't let me call Meghan. Meghan asked for my help. You're not to call that woman. I couldn't return the calls.
Right. And then the press built up this story that they had a rivalry with each other. We don't even know if that's true.
Well, I think it was William trying to pick a fight. You're not to call that woman. And she's so then she can't get. They had trouble organizing things like the wedding, and she's having to fight with her husband to get back to people. William is just somebody who has issues.
Yeah. It's easy to a scapegoat. Oh, yes, she's the one who persuaded Harry to leave the royal family and come to America,
No, I didn't feel that Kate was in rehab. I felt like she had been unconscious, and I was worried that she was depressed and that she may have been prescribed something. And when you're prescribed something, look, if your husband doesn't love you anymore or want to be with you, is there really a medication that can fix that?
Yeah. I don't know. This is an interesting question from Janie here. Is the Middleton family involved to get her out? They appear to be a loving family. Yeah, where is the Middleton family in all of this?
Let's find out. Yeah. What is the Middleton family up to? That is a good question. Let's see.
Well, I had 3 cards jump out.
Mm-hmm.
Fell on the table. Shall I go ahead and say what I have?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The card I got was priorities.
Mm-hmm.
I know what those are. Despair. And then unconditional love. I take that to mean love from the family, unconditional love. It's definitely a priority to help her. Obviously, there's tremendous despair. So I'm almost sensing from the despair card, like the Middleton family has their hands tied behind their backs, so to speak. Like there's only so much they can do because of the royal family. They're going to face their own repercussions. I don't know, but it is a priority to help her. And they obviously love her very much. So they're worried.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the 2 cards in the deck.
I've had a couple people ask if you're doing readings, Chuck. I forgot to ask you about that.
Yes, I'm probably going to start this probably around middle of May. I just have to get some other projects to take care of, some freelance artwork commissions and so forth. But yes, I will be.
Yeah, I just wanted to remember to ask you that because 2 other people asked me if you were giving readings. So when are you going to start taking readings?
Maybe I can do so. Anybody wants to contact me now, maybe I could work some people in. But officially, I'll start.
What you could do is you could do it through Venmo. But what I would do is if you have a phone number, a way for people to contact you, because you're getting a lot of requests. And
thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, right now my email, it's Gmail. It's very easy. It's just my name back.
Chuck, type the information.
Let me see. How do I do this? Where do I type? I've never typed anything in here. Let me see what happens.
Just at the bottom there.
Okay. It's not giving me a place
while
to
you're
type.
Doing that, it's
I can't find a place to type this, but it's just DransfieldChuck@gmail.com.
Okay. DransfIeld. Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a place to type it on here.
I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
What is it? Trans.
Yeah. Well, as it shows on the screen here, my name, just DransField, Dransfield, and then Chuck, just all one word, DransfieldChuck@gmail.com. You can reach me that way very easily.
at Gmail.
at gmail.com. Thank you.
Okay, so for those people that were asking about booking a session with Chuck, he's not totally set up yet, but he can probably get you in through
I'll give you a chance.
DransfieldChuck@gmail.com.
Yeah, anybody's interested, go ahead and contact me. It'll be an honor to read for you. Thank you.
So I was going to say that when I get the energy of the Middletons, it's very foxes. They have to be very clever. You know, the fox is clever. And there's something here about theft. Somebody stole something. So they have to be very clever, or they perceive of them stealing something. They're torn between their loyalties. The dog is loyal. And their loyalty to the child. So they're torn between their loyalties.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm starting to think I was right. I'm starting to think I was right about an overdose.
Yeah, because we had someone earlier asking about the ambulance last December when it showed up. Was it at Kensington House?
Yeah.
And you had your own theories then.
Well, I didn't know if there was an ambulance. I just was crying. I was by myself. My husband was, we were always fighting, and he was saying things that were cruel. And I felt like he just didn't love me anymore. He left me there. It was like I was discarded, like I was nothing.
Yeah.
That's what it was to be Kate. I felt like I was just nothing. He just dumped me. He just literally dumped me. And I felt like he had been putting on airs while the Queen was alive. And then after the Queen died, it was like, okay, I did my duty. I did my duty by my grandmother. We buried her. I'm out. Well, it was like he just stopped acting. It's like, now I have the power to leave. I'm going to leave.
It just further points out how Queen Elizabeth truly was the glue that held that whole family together, kept everybody in line. And now that she's gone, it just seems like the royal family is starting to disintegrate before our very eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Feels that way.
Well, you know what Villa Verde, my friend Villa Verde, says is she doesn't understand the loyalties. How can you have, is that really a choice? Always you have to put your child first.
Yeah. You put your child.
So the antidepressants prescribed, yes. And it's also starting to come out now that they believe that she was mentally ill. He's frequently talking about that she was part of when she was active, part of mental health awareness, as was Harry. But now they're making it out like she was mentally ill. She had to be on medication. They're starting to spread these rumors about Crazy Kate, Crazy Katie.
No. Now, here's an interesting point that Jude made. The Middletons have serious financial problems because of COVID. This could be a problem if the royals have helped them. Now, if that's true, that certainly would make sense that they are obligated to the royal family in that respect. They can't afford to lose whatever support they're getting.
Okay, well, we're going to do one more quick question, and then we're going to have to call it close because we have a guest. But somebody had asked about Ukraine. They said they were very worried because, as many of you know, Russia made several advances. They took 2 villages yesterday, and we can thank the Republican Party for that because they delayed aid to Ukraine, which of course caused death and horror and terror in Ukraine, which is, the GOP literally has done this to the people of Ukraine by delaying aid. And as a result, Russia was able to make some considerable advances, and it's been heavily hitting the infrastructure of Ukraine. People want us to just take a look and see if Ukraine's going to be okay.
If Ukraine's going to be okay. That's a big one. Well, my system is I let cards drop as they drop. I get loss, great sorrow, but the second card I got was bravado. And I take bravado to mean fighting spirit, the warrior within, rising above, great despair, great loss, but ultimately Ukraine will prevail. That's what I take from the bravado card. What do you get, Whimsy?
That the advanced weaponry that NATO is going to supply is going to be helpful. You can see the key.
Yeah.
However, the wish card is granted to Russia. Russia gets their wish, their hope and fear, the mountain, and then the final outcome is the ring. So yes, they win, but the future Russia will be able to do business. If they want business and to make profits in Ukraine, it'll be granted, but not under Putin. I don't think it's going to be under Putin.
Well, when you say under business, meaning it will be more amicable,
Yeah.
friendly. It won't. Okay, that's good. Good. Then that's very positive.
Because people love you. You know, many Russians love Ukraine. They go on holiday there. They like the food. Oh, I can't get that. I can't get that to
Like, we are
Ukraine.
strong. We're mighty. We will prevail.
Yeah, so it's also, you know, how America's a big country and each state has its own special whatever. And so many people like to go to Ukraine that are Russians go there because they like the tourism there. It's very beautiful, shopping, food, etc. And if it were peaceful times, they would still be able to enjoy positive tourism. And that's what they're saying, that the day will come when there will be positive tourism again.
So much of the Ukraine has been destroyed. You know, a lot of the cities, all the bombings. It's going to take a long time to rebuild to get the country to where people will be able to visit again.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. Did you enjoy those blitzes?
I did. I always do this. I mean, it's a lot of things came up. I mean, I'm still kind of reeling what you said about Kate. And,
yeah, I'm worried about her.
Yeah.
We have to, but I'm not feeling hopeful given what she told me, and I don't really even know what we could have done.
No,
I don't enjoy.
Well, I know that about you, you know, because I've known you so many years, and I've seen you when you've had intuitive hits like this, and because you're.
You know, when I had the vision of the guy walking with the gun before this. Remember when I came in and I said, "There's going to be a massacre." I saw a man walking, and then Nevada happened like a day later or something.
I know. I remember that day very well. I was just about to say that, and I remember the despair you were in because you're such an empathetic woman, and it just was hitting you so hard and so heavy.
Because we couldn't stop it. I came in and I literally grabbed Chuck and I said,
"Yeah,
I've done a remote view. As a man, he's got a gun." And I described the thing, and he said, "Can you find the location?" I said, "I can't find the location." And this freaking guy came and he shot how many people? It was horrible. It was horrible.
It was horrible. Yeah, I was with you that day. Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Well, on that happy note, let's switch to talk.
Do we have a winner for the monthly contest? Do you have
we do not have a winner for the monthly contest, but I do, because I didn't pull the Debbie Brady. Yes, I would like it. If Debbie Brady can give it, we can announce it during Spark. So without further ado, I'm going to be bringing on Gail Ninhause. Now, this is one of those books that am I excited about this, because this is what it's all about, isn't it?
It is.
What it's all about. This is. If you feel like you have lost, that you are broken, that you've been beaten down by life, and you're like, why the hell am I alive? And there's no point to any of this, and I'm dark.
That was me last spring of last year.
This is a book for you. If you want to find your way back home, back to your spark, it is this book. Gail Ninhause wrote it. I'm very excited to welcome her to the virtual studio today. Give a warm welcome to the unbelievable Gail Ninhause. Man, do we want to talk to you, Gail.
Wow, that was an entrance.
Well, we do it any other way.
That was intense. Hi, you guys. Good to see you.
Oh, it's so nice to have you here. You know, I love these interviews we do at the end of the month, because every month we have a wonderful book that I just love, and I feel like I know the author personally by the time I'm done.
Yes.
So it's so exciting to actually meet you, talk to you, see your smiling face. You've written a beautiful book here.
Thank you.
I'm so glad Whimsy brought this to my attention. I actually want to give this book as gifts to people. You know, just so much common sense in here. So many things that I know I've been doing anyway, journal writing, exploring, just being open to possibilities in life. But you you write it in such a concise way. It's diagrammed. It's easy to follow. This is a very user-friendly book.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
We worked on that a lot. I worked on that a lot. That was a huge goal, is to almost be very workbook-like, but yet just be light and fun and easy. And, when you are a therapist for a long time, it's really hard to get out of your own head and out of the clinical jargon and all the nonsense. And I had my friend Aaron Bubis, who edited this. He just really helped keep me back on earth and keep it light, keep it funny. And
Well, you
that was
make
really
it,
important.
it's fun. And something, because I'm studying an art practitioner class right now, therapy through art. It's so important to help people to just have fun and let it be light. And that entices you into it. It makes you comfortable and you feel at ease with it. And that's just how you feel with this book. You even were smart enough to leave a lot of blank areas for people to write notes, write their own ideas down.
Yes.
I have paper here where I've been
I
writing
know.
down. I love this.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yes. May I ask the first question? I know you. I'll ask the first question. Why did you just? I mean, why did you say this book has to get written? Like, what was the driving force of why you decided to write it?
Yes. So I would say I had a therapy practice for a very long time. And I saw a lot of adolescents. I was actually the only person in the office that would see adolescents. Go figure. I mean, they're amazing, but I don't, a lot of people just figure that's really complicated, or it's, their autonomy is not quite there. So, they don't have a lot of say in their own life. So as much as work as you do, but what I noticed seeing women, young women for years, just that it's tough out there, and they are so critical of themselves, so horribly critical, which we all are. I mean, that's one thing I learned from doing this. I had my own journey, of just horribly self-critical, and so I wanted to give something to that, and to say, what, this book is about no judgment, about honoring yourself, about doing really hard work, but doing it, still knowing you're supported, that it can be silly, it can be fun, you can do it any way you want to do it. And
Exactly.
it's, I know we were talking a little bit, and I think, just kind of my goal was, had I had this book when I was young, I probably could have avoided 100 miles of bad road that I, just went through. And, we all do. But I also think, this is a book that as you grow, as you, continue on in life, there's times when the wheels fall off again. And, you can go back and you can look and say, am I filled with negative self-talk? Am I doing the work I need to do? Where am I at spiritually? All the different things that just, are pieces of pulling yourself back together and restarting again. How many times we start over and over in life. So
Exactly. You were talking about that inner critic we all have. I was thinking of the example of Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn, this beautiful, gorgeous, beloved woman, powerful. And she was asked that question, do you have that little voice in you that tells you to doubt yourself? And she said, I have a whole committee inside of me, constantly putting me down, constantly telling me what's wrong with myself. So even someone like Marilyn Monroe felt that way. This is universal.
absolutely.
And that's the beauty of your book. When you outline things like this, you show people it's okay. It's okay. We're all here. We're all going through this in our own way. Everybody does. And in turn, I think this gives us empathy for other people who are going through this as well. I love that expression you have, 100 miles of bad road, and sometimes the wheels fall off. Been there enough times.
Yeah. Yes, we all have. I mean, that's the point, is we've all been through this. And I, originally when it came, and I had this book in a basket for probably 10 years in little plastic baskets from the dollar store. And I'd scribble something when I'm driving and I'd throw it in a basket. And when COVID
That's
hit,
how I write. I write on pieces of paper,
Yep.
notebooks. That's how the first Harry Potter book was written. When J.K. Rowling was a waitress, she wrote it on napkins, and in the restaurant she worked in. Yeah,
Oh
but
my
thank
God.
God you did this. So it took you about 10 years to put this together?
You know, from scraps, I mean, once I got writing, it was probably 3 years until
Yeah.
it got onto Amazon. But yeah, I mean, it was in the back of my mind, like Whimsy's question, you know, what happened that made this have to happen? And I think, you know, when COVID hit, it crossed a bridge somehow. So, I mean, I always had that idea. And the more I'd work with people, the more I thought, oh my God, we could use this on a mass level, the stuff I sit and do in this therapy room, you know.
Well, COVID was so unifying for us anyway. I think, you know, it's literally the whole world was in this same predicament.
Yes.
And I know my life was turned around. I know many people. So really it was COVID, the pandemic. That's what finally got you to.
Yep.
Really
When I was trapped in this house, I pulled those 10 little baskets out of the closet and out it started to come. So yeah, because it started going and off we went.
So we have a question from one of your fans here, Erin Bubis. She would like to know, like, when you wrote the book, which chapter were you the most inspired about? Which part woke you up when you were writing it? What was the part that really made you feel inspired about Spark?
Wow. So I think probably the biggest chapter was the self-love chapter. Like, it's such a struggle for myself. I know all of us on some level or another just struggle with that sense of acceptance and just, you know, kind of going forward in life and not constantly judging and tearing yourself down, but just, it takes a lot to get that inward compassion, you know, on a constant level to where it's not just once in a blue moon, you're like, oh, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah. I think it took me until I was 50 years old before I could honestly say I loved myself. It's a tough thing for many people. I talk to many people say they can't do it. They can't bring themselves to say that. I love that particular chapter 3 about self-love.
Yeah.
Very healing.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a big book about healing.
Indeed, at the ultimate. Yeah, Whims, I'm so sorry. I felt like I was interrupting you. You had a question.
I really makes me think self-love. How can people learn if somebody has never been loved?
Oh,
if someone's just been beaten down and been told that their life has no value, how can they, you know, because what I saw in your book, you know, what I just was so glaringly obvious to me is that people are just beaten down before they even leave the gate.
Yeah. Some of us children.
Just the fact that you have to write a book like this.
Right.
If somebody is raised in an environment that's nurturing, where you're being supported and encouraged to and being guided towards what you want out of life, you would never have to have a book like this. But that's not how most of us are raised.
No, and I certainly wasn't. So I think, you know, that it was part of the healing process. And I think, you know, you just have to choose to start. I think you have to be gentle with yourself, and you have to choose to start wanting something else out of your life, you know, aside from all the abuse, all the put down, all the, you know, negative interactions. You have to choose first. And then you got to do a lot of work, right, you guys? And then a lot of work.
That rock bottom despair. I think the gift in that is like what you just said. That's the point where we realize, I got to make a change. I got to do something different. I can't stay here anymore. I can't bear to be here anymore. So it's actually a great gift. I've looked back on many times in my life like that, because like you suggest journal writing. I've been journal writing for like about 40 years. And I have many stories like this I can look back on and see where it led to something marvelous. So I think that's something you teach in your book, you know, the importance of just writing, receiving, taking risks, going down an avenue that you wouldn't expect heck to go, taking that leap of faith, and then letting spirit guide you down the path. And that's where the treasures.
Could you I mean, you had a couple of things about that, like in taking. Can you talk a little bit about calculated risk? Because I know a lot of people, they're so beaten down, they're afraid to walk out their front door.
Right.
How do you get someone started to take risk?
Yeah. So really small little things. I mean, I would even say driving home down a different street, really tiny things that don't feel incredibly threatening. Just little bits to start. And just honoring how scary it is.
Yes, honoring that dark side, that shadow side of yourself, realizing it has something to teach you. I like something in your book. You said, surround yourself with supportive people, surround yourself with like-minded people, people who inspire you. That goes a long way toward giving you that impetus and that courage to take those leaps of faith, knowing you're not doing it alone. I guess knowing you have advocates beside you. So that was a good.
Yes, it's so important to build. I mean, it's just, when you have all these negative people around you, it's the first step is, getting rid of some of that. I mean, and just listening to not only what you're hearing from people, but how it's impacting you. So that kind of, examination, and then, changing, course when you need to. And,
but I like what you said about building and dreaming. Surround yourself with people to help you to build your dreams and goals. Be around these people and people that you can be grateful for, and reinforce your own gratitude, because I think gratitude magnetizes a lot to us. And I love something you said in the book. You said, be around people who make you breathe easier.
Yes. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I love that. In other words, just people who make you feel grounded, centered, make you feel comfortable. That goes a long way toward making fear dissipate and just building that little fire of confidence in yourself. That spark, I should say, that spark.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes, I talk individually, and then I kind of talk in terms of relationships, and then it kind of moves out to community and moves out to spirit as, the larger universe as the book goes forward. But, it's so important to have those people around you and seek out that sort of tribe, that are like you, and you share similar, values, and people that, I know something's not right. If I'm in a relationship and my lungs constantly feel tight, I know it's always a red flag,
I love what you said about being in your tribe, because I find people in my tribe, we can just get into conversations and ideas just come out of nowhere. We just spark off of each other. And that's so exciting. It's so creative.
I think when we're in negative relationships, we forget to look for tribe people. If you've come from a really abusive childhood, or you don't even know where to look, you don't even think to look. So I think that piece is really important, to know that there's people out there that are like you, that you can share with, that you can have air in your lungs and be healthy, and it's important to know, that you need to look for that.
I love how you also said, I'm so sorry.
I was just going to say, vulnerable children become vulnerable adults because they don't know who to trust, and they often will go from one abusive relationship after another for that reason. Yes. I actually appreciated the time you put into boundaries.
Yes.
And I was actually wondering if you could maybe read a little bit of your book today. If you're able to read a little bit about boundaries, or maybe some other selection from the book that you feel would be more helpful to people, if there's a particular part that, maybe your biography part, or whatever you feel you would like to share with us today.
Okay, cool. Whimsy, do you know what page the boundary piece is on?
53. I was just struck
53.
by,
okay.
I just felt like that really hit me. For whatever reason, that was the point in the book where this is the point of the book where I go for an angry walk and I stomp really hard, because I feel like so many of my problems have been about the fact that people don't respect my boundaries. And I think that's really hard for me as a remote viewer, because my job is to get really, well, you know what I do, but we always have to be aware of boundaries and permission from spirit. I do that deliberately because I did grow up with not the best boundaries, and then you learn bad boundaries yourself. And so I just really, I don't think you can heal without boundaries.
No, you can't heal without boundaries. And the other piece is discernment, which I spend a bit of time on too. Is just being discerning. You know, that's how you sort through those relationships and those unhealthy people, and being very discerning and trusting your heart, and knowing that you are the one driving the bus, not somebody else. You know, I mean, you know, especially with younger kids that are coming into adulthood, but all of us, you know, if you don't know who you are, somebody's going to tell you who you are. So you've got to do that work, and you've got to be solid. And it's hard, and we all fall off and come back, and, you know, but just to know it's worth doing, you know.
I just love at the heading, you say boundaries are self-love. That's so important to remember. That's such a simple statement. It's so true.
It's not guilt. It's not shame. That's how you love yourself. You set boundaries.
If I may just say very quickly, I don't want to interrupt you, but, you know, I grew up with very low self-esteem from being bullied a lot. I had a troubled mother, so I tended to give myself away all the time, you know, being the people pleaser. So I see, you know, what you're saying about boundaries is about not giving yourself away, you know, recognizing your self-worth, recognizing your love for yourself. I just wanted to say that real quick. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yes, thank you. No, I appreciate you, Chuck. I've watched like every book club that's been on, and I just always appreciate your insight. I'm great. That's really awesome. I appreciate it.
Well, I love having you here right now.
Yeah.
Please, as Whimsy said, you know.
I got it. Yes. So let's see.
This is page 53 if you want to follow along with the author.
Okay.
I think we picked it. Yeah.
Okay. So not all of our struggles are on the inside. Sometimes people invade your person in ways you don't expect. They may try to push their beliefs on you, or make you feel invalidated for believing what you believe, or for being who you are. This is a time when we need to be aware and set our personal boundaries. What exactly is a boundary? In terms of relationships with other humans, it is a line where you begin and the other person ends. More clearly, where your values, identity, responsibility, sense of control, and autonomy exist, and where someone else's concept of those things commingle. Does it sound difficult? It can be very, very tricky. Do you want me to keep going?
Is it all right if you could just finish?
Sure.
It's really good.
Okay, yeah.
You write really well.
You do.
And adding it to this book, it can be much less difficult if you know who you are, what you value, and what's a negotiation or a deal breaker in relationship interactions. Yes, it's complicated. Yes, we don't always have all the information or make the best choices. That's okay. It's about learning to say no, learning to accept ourselves and stand our ground and stand in our power, and learning to appreciate that our voices matter. Yay.
I love that. Our voices matter. Yeah.
Our voices matter. Everybody, we should say that to ourselves every time we get up in the morning.
Voices matter. Yeah.
Voices matter. Yeah. No, that's really beautiful. You write in such a simple, easy to follow, easy to absorb way, but it's so profound and so strong. There's a lot of strength encoded into your words. You know, I can see the process of 10 years, you know, to do this. And then this last years to really polish and perfect it. But it's like a near perfect little book. If I can say a little book, you know, you know what I mean? I was just delighted when I got my copy of it, and I just found it so easy to follow. And I just thought there's so many people I know who could use this book and benefit from it. And
Awesome.
I just think it's going to be very successful for you.
Yeah.
It's really,
I like
And
the
there's-
warrior soul also. I was going to say.
The Warrior Soul, I love. Oh my
I'm
God, that's
married.
one of my favorites.
I loved when you said, look for your external warriors, look for examples of people who represent what you'd like to be. I could throw something out to you. I just did a show yesterday about Carol Burnett, her 91st birthday.
Oh.
I've met the woman, talk about an angel in a human body. And I just thought, yeah, she's an example for me of how you conduct yourself in life, to treat people with kindness and respect and empathy, and to recognize what you just said. Every voice matters. That was my experience with Carol Burnett. But let me ask you, who are your external warriors?
Oh my gosh, there's and so funny. We do in the book, there's like a little QR code at the back, and I do all these videos. So we actually build a warrior collage. So you pull in your warriors. But I would say for myself, I would say for myself, definitely Tony Bennett. I was listening to Tony Bennett last night. Like he had such an incredible life, such a kind human.
God, yes. I saw him.
And I mean, I have political people. I have, a lot of women. I love Madeleine Albright. Like, there's across the board warriors. But I was just thinking about Tony last night. I was listening to some of his music, and I thought, what a beautiful human he was. He was so, people that knew him said he was so kind. He did back in the day, fought a lot against racism in the music business, and just really supported people, and, was a really good guy.
Lady Gaga at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yes.
And he was 89 at the time, and he was hitting these high notes,
I know,
belting them. And because I've listened to his recording so much, I closed my eyes and I thought, he's actually singing better at the age of 89 than when 50 years earlier. Yeah. And I think that's just when you have such goodness in your soul that it supports all of that. Yeah.
100%. And it's just such a good example day to day to think about, okay, am I going to be crabby with somebody in the grocery store line, or am I going to pull it together and, be a compassionate human? It's something that I just, when I look at somebody like that, I think, okay, I can keep working on this. But he's one of my favorites.
We have another question for Gail. This one's coming from Jen Seattle, book lady. Gail, your voice is so personable and accepting. I appreciate an audiobook with the author's voice. Do you plan on doing an audio version?
Oh my gosh. So here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. So I have a friend with a home studio. My nephew Jared, who has been so helpful teaching me like YouTube and cameras and all these things. We recorded the entire audiobook, and I have nobody to edit it because it's like $900 million. So I'm working on it. I'm not giving up. We did the whole thing. I've got to go back. We did the entire book. But of course, once you start pulling stuff out, you have to re-record certain things. And, we did a lot of third and fourth takes and such. So thank you for that. I hope so. I'm not giving up, but I don't quite know what to do yet.
Well, unfortunately, I have a patient at 6:30, so we're going to have to call it quits. I want to, before we close today, just thank Debbie Brady, creative director and head of the fan pages over at the Oracle of Whimsy on Facebook. Be sure and check us out over at Facebook. We do offer a free reading once a month to one lucky person. And the winner this month is Teresa McLaughlin. Teresa McLaughlin, if you could send an email to me, whimsyanderson@gmail.com or DransfieldChuck@gmail.com, we will be sure and get you on the schedule. Gail, do you have any more books coming out? That's the other question.
So it's going to be a while. Oh my God. You see how pokey I am, but I am doing, this book was almost the book that I'm going to do next, but a book on shadow work, but personal connection to your shadow side. But I felt we were living such a collective shadow at that time, given our circumstances currently and over the past handful of years. I thought, oh, that's way too much right now. But now we're kind of pulling out of the, so I'm outlining and starting chapters and researching, and there's been 9 million books on shadow work, and so I don't want to repeat anything, so I'm working my way through.
Yeah, but it's not the same as your stuff, because your stuff's a workbook. It's entirely
Thank
different.
you. I want to see what I have to give once I see what's out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to close because that my patient is texting me. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Everyone, be kind to all so that all can be kind to you, too. We'll see you next time. We are out of here. God bless. Bye. Peace out, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.